Watch a manta ray swim past a mirror. It stops. It investigates the reflection, demonstrating self-recognition, a cognitive feat we once assumed belonged to humans. Look at this chimpanzee. It selects a specific rock, evaluates its weight, and strikes a nut with precise force. That is complex problem solving. And when an elephant dies, the herd will gather. They gently touch the bones, and they linger for hours in what biologists recognize as deep mourning. We observe high intelligence, emotional depth, and social bonds across the animal kingdom. Yet for most of human history, we have treated these creatures as entirely separate from ourselves. Cultural and religious traditions built a hard dividing line. They placed humans at the top of a grand hierarchy, divinely appointed to rule over and utilize every other living thing. Without scientific data to challenge it, this hierarchy became the default justification. We built entire global industries on the assumption that we owe no moral consideration to the animals we consume, wear, and use for labor. Then, Charles Darwin published his theory of evolution by natural selection. He provided the framework that finally mapped our true place in nature. This is Darwin's early sketch of the evolutionary tree. It illustrates a biological reality. All life on Earth is connected through common ancestry. When we map genetic data, we find a human is closer in DNA to a chimpanzee than that chimpanzee is to a monkey. We are not placed above the natural world, but exist as one branch within it. As a biological extension of the same family tree, denying moral consideration to other branches based purely on their species is intellectually and scientifically inconsistent. Shared DNA results in shared physical hardware. The evolutionary steps that gave humans complex nervous systems also happened in the creatures we share our planet with. This brings us to sentience. Sentience is the capacity to subjectively experience the world, to feel pain, hunger, fear, and joy. Biological research confirms that cows and pigs and the chickens we breed by the billions possess central nervous systems that process physical and emotional distress through structures homologous to our own. For philosophers like Peter Singer, this capacity for suffering is the only justifiable stopping place for our circle of moral concern. The question is not, can they reason, but can they suffer? Humanism bases its morality on evidence and empathy. When the evidence shows that animals have the capacity to suffer, it triggers a mandatory moral duty to protect them. To measure this duty, humanists use a framework called the 5 Freedoms, an evidence-based checklist for animal welfare. It guarantees physical basics, freedom from hunger, thirst, discomfort, pain, and disease. It also mandates psychological requirements, freedom from fear, and space to express natural behaviors. Providing these freedoms is the baseline ethical requirement when interacting with any creature biologically capable of feeling pain. Look closely at modern industrial farming. Battery cages severely restrict movement, preventing hens from expressing normal behavior. This directly violates the 5 Freedoms. Recognizing this mass-scale suffering drives many humanists to adopt vegetarian or vegan diets, or to strictly source their food from farms with high welfare standards. This ethical standard also conflicts with current law. In the UK, welfare legislation mandates that farm animals be stunned and rendered insensitive to pain before slaughter, yet there are specific legal exemptions granted for religious halal and kosher meat. Without pre-stunning, the animal's throat is cut while it is fully conscious. It remains sensible to pain as it slowly dies from blood loss. The humanist position is clear. Ancient religious traditions cannot be used as a justification for causing animal suffering that would otherwise be prohibited by law. Advocating for those who cannot advocate for themselves has been a consistent humanist pursuit, from 19th century activists to modern campaigns against factory farming. The name humanism often makes people mistakenly believe the philosophy is only concerned with human welfare. In reality, humanism requires using our unique capacity for reason and empathy to act as protectors of the entire extended family of sentient life.